Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the heaviest tier 8 in the game, the VK16801P. This tier 8 German premium, or actually it's a collector now, collector heavy, is one that a lot of people get their hands on. And it's not because of its amazing performance in pubs, it's because of the fact that this vehicle weighs 168 tons. And there's this little game mode called Gravity and Gravitizing. And when either of those game modes are accessible, people pull out this tank and will try to ram you at 50 plus kilometers per hour, which in other words means so yeah, the VK168 can be a blast. I remember the first time Wargaming released Gravity, and I was one of the first people to mess around with this tank in Gravity. It was insane, especially because at that time there was no jump ability, so people couldn't really jump away from you. You just demolished them. However, that has obviously since then been changed. A lot of us know, though, that Gravity is only available for once every, couple months, if that. And for the rest of the year, you gotta have a VK168 sitting in your garage collecting dust. Or do you? Well, in today's video, we're going to be playing in this vehicle and seeing just how it performs outside of Gravity. Is this actually a decent tank? Should you ever consider playing it? Or should it just rot in your garage and never be played? Well, there's a couple strengths and a couple weaknesses about it. The major strength is that it has a boatload of hit points at over 2,000. That's a lot for a heavy. We can see something like that T-32 has 1850 base. So, yeah, this tank's got a lot of hit points. Not only that, it also hits really hard with 460 damage per shot. That makes it the highest alpha for a heavy, basically in tier 8, unless you count the Caliban, but that's not even really a heavy at that point. That thing's just a derpy-doo. So it's got a lot of damage per shot, and it also has 8 degrees of gun depression and pretty decent armor. So it has some strengths, but it's obviously really slow, which is a big old weakness as well. And speed is key, so, not being very fast is a downside you're going to have to worry about. But there you go, nice 430 damage shot into the enemy SU-101. Pretty good example there of where that alpha damage does feel pretty dang nice. Now I'm going to have to save my T-30 here before bro gets absolutely demolished. So I'm going to make my way up and, well, let's see if I can help out my teammate. I'm going to load in an HE. Unfortunately, it does not end up pending. I was really hoping that would. I do have support behind me, so I'm not really worried about that. And I also have this IS kind of YOLOing. So I'm going to aim it on the T-28 for now. Let's get an easy bonk. There you go, 493. You can see where the damage per shot on this vehicle does feel really, really nasty. Being able to just chunk 400 hit points off of somebody, it feels good. I'm not going to lie. It feels pretty dang good. And we're going to aim it on the T-28 again. Aw, unfortunate. The accuracy of this vehicle is not great. And that is one thing you're always going to have to keep in mind. Now, the T-34, who's going to try and push me, I'm not really worried about. I have more damage per shot than the T-34, and I'm just not really worried about his tank. We're going to aim in on him. There you go, nice 476. Again, that damage just feels so nasty when you're able to chunk somebody for that much HP. Let's hope that our teammates are able to do what they need to. I don't want to bleed health for my teammates because they don't know how to play. We have the AMX 50 over here as well. Let's aim it on... Okay, that was just an unfortunate shot. We do have the T-25 too, but it's probably not going to matter. Yeah, instead he's just going to make me back up wide, which is not ideal for me. Are we going to make a play? We just going to sit here, bruh? What are we doing? What are we doing, you goober? Alright, well, I'm going to aim it on the T-34. There you go, easy shot. And T-25 too is still not really doing much, but he does shoot the T-69 once at least, so there's that. You can see the armor on this vehicle. It's not great. Like, you can get bounces, but you're not going to get all too many in this vehicular. But, again, that alpha damage is pretty dang nasty. And when you're able to use that damage effectively, I mean, you're going to outtrade your opponents. So, we're doing pretty good here, actually. We've used our HP. We've been able to get the enemy AMX and T-34 down the one-shots, and really the only tank left that I care about shooting is the enemy T-28. So what am I going to do here? Well, the T-34 is running away. We do have the AMX in front. I'm just going to drive right over and hope that we can get the... No, we're not able to get the clearing shell. Well, that's a little lame, but doesn't really matter. We have the T-28, which we get a 454 into, and I didn't even have to worry about the AMX because my T-25 too killed him. So we ended up dealing 3,100 damage in this battle. Pretty good. You can notice that the armor on the 168 is not a strength. It's not bad, to be fair. Like, the upper plate's pretty good. The turret is similar to that of a mouse, where you have to load gold to really have a chance of cutting through. But the problem is its track wheels are very weak and very exposed. The lower plate's rather large, and because of that, it's quite an easy vehicle to cut through if you know what you're doing. The tank also only goes 20, meaning that literally every single vehicle is going to beat you into position. That sucks for you for two reasons. First of all, if the enemy team beats you into position, you're now stuck in a situation where you might have to fall back, even though you couldn't even get to where you wanted to go. And it also means that if your team plays over-aggressive and dies before you get into position, well, your game might already be over by the time you try doing anything, which makes this tank very map-dependent. Castilla, which of course I just got, is probably the worst map for a super heavy in the game, due to the fact it's a very large map where you have to drive around. You know, I have to either go around this way or around this way if I want to get anywhere. And because of that, the map frickin' sucks. Especially because of the fact that there's a ridgeline that tank destroyers can sit on and shoot you whenever you try to make a play. So really the only viable play to make on Castilla is to go towards mid. So I have to go all the way around the mountain, all the way back over, just because of the terrible map design that is Castilla. Yeah, Wargaming really needs to fix this map. It's awful. It really is. But that's the downside you have to be willing to take when driving a slow vehicle. That's one of the major reasons I like the Motion and Mouse a lot more than sometimes the Tier 8 heavies, because these guys go 20, where the Motion and Mouse go 25. And sure, that might not sound like a huge difference, but trust me, it is. 25 is like literally 30% faster than the 20 that these tanks go. At least they feature good power to weights though, so you're never going to go like below 20. Even uphill, it's not like slow, it's just, you know, not quick either. So our KV5's over here, T-28 defenders spotted. With the way that our team's going, I'm tempted to push over here. How many heavies do they have? Now, they got 4 heavies. I feel like they're going to play more towards where our T-28 defender is. I'm going to try and support him. Ah, there you go. There's the enemy Samwa. Aiming. Nope. Unfortunate. Yeah, the accuracy, it's not bad, but you have to aim in. And if you don't aim in, you're going to get shots like the one I just fired, where they just don't go. You know, that's the problem you're going to run into. So let's make our way over here, up the hill, and then maybe we can get a shell into the enemy Judo. Aiming. There you go. And look at that. 498 roll. I mean, again, thing chunks. Like, this thing really does chunk. So we have the M6 Experimental all the way on our flank, which is definitely something to keep in mind, but I'm not super worried. We also have the T-34 Rudy, which we get 120 damage into getting the clear on. We also have an IS-3 on our flank, and not sure how I feel about any of this. T-28 Defender gets shot. We have the Samwa SM and everybody else on the enemy team over here. I'm just going to back up to a point where this IS-3 is basically going to have to make a play if he wants to do anything. We'll see what happens. Is he just going to sit there for like the ends of time? I mean, where's the Samwa? I think he's still on that ramp. Let's see, is the IS-3 still sitting there? Of course he is. Literally, bruh, can't move. Alright, there's the M6. Aiming in an HE. Boom! 600 damage juicer. That is obviously pretty dang nasty and not what you want to have done. Alright, well, let's aim it on the IS-3. Does cut through my armor. We're going to reload ourselves, and I actually can't pen the IS-3 at all from this angle, because of the fact that his tank is low down. So we're just going to drive here, and there you go, nice 446. But now we have the Samwa on us. So basically, it doesn't matter what I do, because I got tanks on me. And he pens that. Of course he does. Yeah, you're starting to see where this tank kind of sucks. Like, you can see I'm ramming this IS-3 for a lot. Every time he taps me, he's losing like 100 health, which is kind of crazy. Look at that. Samwa just tapped me. He lost 479 for that. I mean, that's insane when you actually think about it. But we're also running into that problem of the fact that this tank just doesn't really do what you want it to. So, it's got strengths, you know. It can do things. And we might win this game, actually. It's possible. If my T-28 Defender didn't leave me and screw me over for the Crows to pick me up, I probably would have actually been fine. He was right behind me and just left. He honestly probably lost our team this game. I don't even know why he did this, but that's something you're always going to have to keep in mind with your teammates, right? At least he hits the shell on the Sama, and, well, I was going to say if our KV-5 hits him, that'll be good, but for some reason the KV-5 ignored him. I don't even think the T-49 can pen him, although it doesn't really matter. Dude's only got 50 health, so yeah, this is gonna be a loss. I can... Actually, we have a full health Tankenstein. Never mind. I didn't even see our Tankenstein. Now, this is winnable. This is definitely winnable. Alright, well, we did win. That game would have been a lot easier, as I mentioned, if that T-28 had just stuck with me, but we did 3,400 damage. We blocked 1670, and this was a good game to actually showcase why the 168 is kind of goofy. That IS-3 tapped me at like 5 kilometers per hour like 3 times and lost 100 health each time. The Sama tried to drive around me, and I skirted the side of my tank into him. We took 480 off of him. That's insane. We penned the IS-3 2 times, which is 900 damage, so we did another 400 to ramming. So in this game, we did over 800 damage just by ramming people. Yeah, that is why the 168 is kind of crazy. So, is it a good tank? Yeah, actually. I mean, it's not the best, and obviously there are other vehicles which can do better. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, it's an amazing tank. But it is fun. The alpha damage is nice. And when you can get those rams out, people don't realize how much damage this thing does. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.